Y'all rocking with me.
How
In this
1090
video, we're going to be speaking on P from the QC music label, the CEO of the music label.
Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Snitching on a man and getting him a 20-year prison sentence. May 27th, 2010. It was 8:45 p.m. when an off-duty officer working at the Lenox Mall in Atlanta advised over the radio he was with a man who stated a black man named Keon was...
Hold on. She said King more gangster than QCP. Hey, I can't lie. I agree with you. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Y'all rocking with me, and for this video, we're gonna be speaking on P from the QC music label, the CEO of the music label, snitching on a man and getting him a 20-year prison sentence. May 27th, 2010. It was 8:45 p.m. when an off-duty officer working at the Lenox Mall in Atlanta advised over the radio he was with a man who stated a black man named Keon was leaving the mall in a brown-tinted four-door and that Keon was wanted for murder. Two additional officers responded to the area, locating a brown Oldsmobile matching the description given. The vehicle was pulled over with two men and a woman inside, with the front passenger being identified as Interior's Keon McClinton, who officers confirmed had a murder warrant out of Fulton County. An investigator arrived at the mall where the call originated and met with Pierre Thomas, who's more commonly known as P, the CEO of Quality Control Music. P stated to the investigator he was at the mall when he recognized the man he knew as Keon. P told the investigator Keon was the same man who previously shot him and killed his friend, which led to the warrant for murder. P would continue by telling the investigator he confronted Keon, even chasing him to his vehicle where Keon grabbed a handgun. That's when P would run for the mall as Keon chased behind him saying, "I'm gonna kill you." P would state he was in fear for his life, hid in the mall, and came back out to see Keon was leaving the area. P would also provide a written statement. According to the written statement, Pierre listed himself as a victim or witness and wrote, "I confronted him about murder and chased him to the car. He got a pistol and chased me in the mall, threatening to kill me." The officer would write, "How do you know the subject?" And P would answer, "He shot me and killed my friend." The officer then asked, "What type of gun was it?" And P answered, "A black handgun." On a second piece of paper, the officer would ask, "Did he make any comments?" And P would write, "I'm gonna kill you." The officer then wrote, "Did you fear for your life?" And P answered, "Yes."
Hey, now, I want to ask this question. This guy was charged. He was charged for pulling out a gun and chasing Peter back into the mall. But I seen some people saying P chased him first. P and his homies chased him first to his car. So ain't that's like self-defense if a couple of dudes chasing me to my car and I run to that bitch and grab my gun? Ain't that self-defense? Or it's no longer self-defense because this guy is wanted for murder, for allegedly, an attempted murder for allegedly shooting P and his homie. Like, that's like some self-defense shit. I know in Florida, we got stand your ground law. So like, if a nigga run me to my car and I pull out my gun, that ain't nothing. I ain't break no laws. But I don't know, gang. I guess that shit different in Atlanta.
Pierre Thomas would sign both pieces of paper along with the witnessing officer who received the statement. Keon would be read his Miranda rights before saying he was at the mall when a man with a red hat approached him, repeatedly asking if he knew him and saying he knew who he was. Keon said the man's friends began to surround him when he took off running to the car. Reaching the car, he pointed his finger at the man with the hat who was now leaving the scene. Keon denied having a firearm or pointing one at anyone. The vehicle would be impounded and no weapon would be recovered, but Keon would be charged with aggravated assault anyways and taken to jail to also face the murder warrant. 8 days later, Keon will be indicted on charges of aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony for allegedly pointing a handgun and threatening Pierre Thomas. Within the witness list, P would be the only civilian listed, and his statement would be the only evidence against Keon. Incarcerated for roughly 3 months, Keon would be indicted on 7 new charges. The state would allege that on December 8th, 2009, Pierre Thomas, or P, went over to an apartment complex belonging to Karan Dennis. P had intended on playing Xbox and betting on a basketball game within the apartment that was said to be a marijuana trap house. While at the apartment, a man that evidence later identified as Keon arrived looking for the apartment owner, Karan, who Keon to come back a little later. Karan would make his way back to the apartment, and not long after, Keon would arrive looking to buy marijuana. When Karan went to get it, Keon was said to have opened fire, shooting Karan multiple times before.
Hold on, man. He say chasing a nigga that shot at you to call 911 is wild. Civilians. So y'all gotta let me know, man. They kept messing up to the police or a street nigga. How you move? Y'all gotta let me know. Do y'all consider QCP as a civilian or a street nigga? See, before I go into this, we gotta make it clear first. Is he a civilian or a street nigga? Because if he a civilian, none of this shit even matter. That mean he didn't snitch then. Because a civilian can tell. A civilian can cooperate. So is P a civilian or P a street nigga? He hung in the streets with the street niggas. He hung with the street niggas, but he said he wasn't a street nigga. He just played the cards he was dealt. See, I don't care what nobody say. P was in them streets. He was in them streets. So I'm saying we know he was in the streets, but is he a street nigga? Like, so is he a civilian? That's the question. Is P a civilian? Because P say he was in the streets, but he ain't no street nigga. Say he a rap for sure if he was in the streets then. I don't give a fuck if he was a civilian or not. He was bold enough to go after a motherfucker who killed your friend and shot at you, but now you tuck your tail. Right. But see, you gotta think about it too. He had people with him, so he felt like shit. We gonna get down on this nigga. Mickey True say he a civilian. Say no, he's not a civilian. Now, hey Mickey, but why do you think he's a civilian? Like if Pete was around them niggas, Pete was in the streets, Pete was in them trap houses, Pete was running around with the little babies and the Rollos and the Gucci mans and shit like that. Like P was with them niggas. No man. Y'all hit that like button. If anybody want to come up, they can come up. Hanging in the streets make you a real one. Nah, but it's a difference between a real one and a street nigga. Because mind you, like I was saying, if, for prime example, if he ain't made his money legally, he not no civilian. Best believe he was hustling in the streets and he ain't had to play no game to be in the. He was a hustler. Okay, he was a hustler. Catch, what up? What up? Okay, that's okay. Well, that's a question to ask. Is being a hustler, selling whatever you selling, hustling however you hustling in the streets, do that make you a street nigga? So that's Keon gone. Yeah, Keon gone. So if you a hustler in the streets, if you selling illegal shit and you in the streets, do that make you a street nigga? He was a dope boy. Okay, so he was a dope boy. So by him being a dope boy, now Mickey, you say he was a dope boy, but you feel he was a civilian. So is a hustler, can a hustler be, I don't consider a dope boy a street dude? I can go for that. I can go for that. Because it's a lot of people jumped off the porch selling shit that don't know what the fuck they was doing. And, you know, they wasn't like on that. So I can go for that. But we also got to paint this picture. He was around all the street niggas. He was hanging out with these niggas. And he was selling drugs. But he said he was a civilian. He said he played the hand he was dealt. So he's saying basically, look, I was putting this shit and I had to do what I had to do to get out the streets. And once I had enough money to get out the streets, that's what I did. So I need y'all to let me know. I need at least two people to say, well, we already got one person say a civilian. Was P a civilian or a street nigga? He sold drugs and he hung around. That nigga getting them knocked out. I didn't know it was levels to being a dope boy. Like Clyde say, stand by the code. So people feel by him being in the streets, him selling drugs, he's not a civilian. Because you got to think about this too now. With selling drugs and hustling, that comes with robbery, that comes with killing, that comes with altercations. We got to think about the stuff that comes with being a hustler. Because a nigga I don't know not one hustler that never been tried unless he had an army around him. Street dudes to me put in work like work. I can agree. Like I said, I can agree with a hustler not being a street nigga. Because I know some niggas who just had access to the work, so they started hustling. But they wasn't no street niggas. Like they was cornballs. Like they were sharks. But they peoples had to work. So shit, if I could go in my people's room and grab a pound and bag it up and hang on the block and serve it to the niggas that's on the block, you would consider that as hustling. But technically they wasn't no street niggas. So I can dig it. But we can't forget he was hanging around real killers and he was in them clubs. He was in that trap house. He was at them parties. He was in them cars with them real niggas. See, I hang around wealthy people and I ain't nowhere near wealthy. Hey, you got a point. Take the severe shit. Are you really going to approach that shot? You and kill your friend? My friend who let it be. But Skip feel like, hey, if you a civilian nigga, you ain't running up on no nigga that shot you and killed your homie. So it's kind of neck and neck. Mickey said, I'm a civilian, but I stand on principle. So snitching is a no-no to me, no street politics. Okay. Now I'm gonna give my opinion. Dude was in the streets, he was hustling. You feel me? I haven't heard nothing that he have done like streetwise, but he was hustling. I don't think he's a civilian, but I don't think he a street nigga either. But by him being in the streets, I don't think he's eligible to tell because he did engage in street activity. So I don't think he's eligible to tell. He said he was bold enough to run up, but it ain't go his way, so he called 12.
Or firing at P. P would run for the sliding glass door, making his way to apartments.
We wind it back now.
He told the tenant he'd been shot. When Karan went to get it, Keon was...
Now the shooter is at the trap house. Y'all know P done got them pigs in that motherfucker, right? So the shooter at the trap house
said to have opened fire, shooting Karan multiple times before firing at P. P would run for the sliding glass door, making his way 2 apartments over, where he told the tenant he'd been shot and to call the police. Karan would die from his injuries, and investigators would determine it to be a murder-robbery. Through the course of the investigation, police interviewed P, the surviving victim. P provided them with a description stating the suspect was approximately 6 feet tall, 200 pounds with a mohawk, and a possible tattoo on his face. Time would go by since the day of the shooting, and P would occasionally relay information to the police about stuff that he had heard on the street, identifying Keon, a suspect, or who he heard might have been responsible for killing his friend. He provided some info to the police, and they were able to put a person into a photo lineup, but P did not make an identification. A few more months went by, and P provided information to the police that he had heard that the suspect goes by the name Stunner, and he'd previously been shot in a club. Looking into the nickname, police were able to identify Keon as having used that nickname and having been a shooting victim. 5 months had now passed since P had been shot, and with the new photo lineup presented, P was able to positively identify Keon, or Stunner, as the man who shot him and killed his friend.
Hold on. I was going to say it's supposed to be, I killed your friend and shot him. Say like, was the conversation supposed to be, I killed your friend and shot you, blah, 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 blah. Hey, all right, check views on me. Yeah, miss, now we just got it started. Say now tomorrow called the police and P gave a statement. Money ain't ish when you have everything you want. So now they paying niggas to get niggas killed. So they watching. Like now look now we don't know that P put that money on dude head. Now that just what people in Atlanta saying. So we can't, like I said in my video, we're not gonna put the jacket on P. Now everybody entitled to their opinion. You know, I don't mind you speaking your opinion. But I'm just making it known that I didn't say nothing about P had nothing to do with nobody getting killed. You feel me? I ain't finna say that, you know. As of right now, P ain't had nothing to do with that because I ain't found no evidence that say P had anything to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I say P is too rich and too smart to do anything like that. And he would be dumb if he did. Real say I am. So now let me know this. If somebody shot you and killed your homie and you got that detective card and that detective say, keep in touch, call me. Is y'all keeping in touch and letting these people know everything that y'all heard? Those transcripts seal the deal though. Facts. Oh, little takeoff. Like, P, I'm trying to think the mindset of P was in at this time. This dude just shot him and killed this homie, and he's calling this detective every time he hears some shit. Like, do y'all think he was trying to get him locked up because he was scared and knew he wasn't going to retaliate? Or do y'all think he was trying to get him locked up because he was just like on some shit like, man, nigga need to be in jail, man? Because if he looking at it like, man, nigga need to go to jail for this shit, then he's thinking like a civilian. Because a street nigga gonna get revenge. But mind you, dude was shot at the club. The dude that allegedly shot Peter, say that's the rapper from QC, right? He ain't a rapper, he the boss. He the CEO. He's the CEO. So as of right now, P calling the detective, telling the detective, look, man, this what the streets is saying. And we need to hurry up and get him off the street.
Police believed it was apparent P had seen a photograph of Stunner prior to viewing the lineup. Because of the positive identification, the warrant for murder went out, and 3 weeks after, P would confront Stunner in the mall before running for his life. Stunner would write a letter to the judge and call out P for his lies that led...
Now this is the guy that allegedly shot P and killed his friend. Now he in jail. He done been arrested. So he finna write a letter to the judge and tell the judge how he feel. Cause he fighting for his life right now. Mickey said he wanted justice.
After, P would confront Stunner in the mall before running for his life. Stunner would write a letter to the judge and call out P for his lies that led to his incarceration. He'd introduce himself and say, I have been incarcerated for approximately 6 months under false pretenses. The accusee, Mr. Pierre Thomas, has made false accusations such as claiming that I shot at him and supposedly killed his friend. Fearing that I would retaliate and seek vengeance for him shooting me 4 times on April 30th of 2010, Pierre Thomas went down to the police department and took a warrant out on me. So in a surprising turn of events, Stunner was now claiming P previously shot him or knows who shot him. And because P thought Stunner was going to retaliate, P went to the police and snitched on Stunner. March 16th, 2012. Stunner would be re-indicted, now facing a total of 10 charges, including murder, 2 felony murders, and 2 aggravated assaults. All charges would stem from the 2 incidents involving P, the initial shooting at the apartment, and the mall confrontation. 4 days later, Stunner would be ready to face sentencing. According to the guilty plea transcripts, a then 30-year-old Stunner stood in front of a judge as she explained he was charged with 10 counts, but the state had agreed to dismiss 6 of them. He pled guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The state would go over the 2 cases and 2 witnesses, Karan Dennis and Pierre Thomas. The judge would receive the details of the shooting, the cooperation of Pierre Thomas, and how Stunner was able to be identified solely by Pierre Thomas's voluntary cooperation by steadily supplying investigators with tips as the months progressed. Pierre would confront Stunner in a mall before running for his life and immediately sought the police as he told them of the murder warrant he helped secure against Stunner. This arrest would place new charges on Stunner where yet again, Pierre Thomas was the only witness and his statement was the main piece of evidence linking Stunner to any crime. Pierre would be notified by the prosecutors of the negotiations that have been agreed to, and Stunner would be sentenced to 20 years in state prison with 10 to serve and the remainder to be served on probation. Only a year after Stunner's...
Well, if it was me, I would have only approached if I was locked and loaded. So look, this man just was sentenced to 20 years. This man was just sentenced to 20 years. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Now, my bad. I'm going to let it play a little more before I ask that question. But mind you, he just got sentenced for 20 years for the statements that P made.
In the sentencing, Pierre Thomas, who we all now know as P, would co-found Quality Control Music, becoming the CEO of one of Atlanta's rising music labels. With the superstar roster like the Migos, Lil Yachty, Lil Baby, and many more, P's power, wealth, and fame would also be on the rise, with only those close to the city knowing what took place before his career took off. Given credit for the 2 years spent in jail, it wouldn't be until May of 2019 when Stunner was approved for parole. Stunner's oldest child was 9 years old when he went away, and 10 years later, the two had plenty to catch up on. But unfortunately,
Mickey said he was reaching with the witness part. Now he was reaching with the witness part because there was other witnesses. What he said, Mickey? Big Skip still on confronting him. Hey, he ain't letting that mall shit go. Big Skip ain't letting that mall shit go. When oh, you said because 1090 said that P was the only witness. But Mickey saying there was other witnesses too, though.
unfortunately, their time together will be cut short.
Shortly after 8 o'clock this morning, officers...
Hold on, let me run it back a little bit.
Lil Baby and many more. P's power, wealth, and fame would also be on the rise, with only those close to the city knowing what took place before his career took off. Given credit for the 2 years spent in jail, it wouldn't be until May of 2019 when Stunner was approved for parole. Stunner's oldest child was 9 years old when he went away, and 10 years later, the two had plenty to catch up on. But unfortunately, their time together will be cut short.
Shortly after 8 o'clock this morning, officers respond to a person shot. When they arrived, they located one black male in his late 30s, deceased from several gunshot wounds. They were able to locate certain items of evidence, including some shell casings.
Right.
Right now, we're canvassing the neighborhood, trying to find any witnesses or any video footage of what happened. We have been speaking with some neighbors who did call 911 after reporting hearing gunshots. At this time, we're still trying to determine a motive or who the suspects are. But at this time, we do believe that it was a targeted shooting based on witness accounts.
Stunner was pronounced dead after being shot multiple times, and what police determined was a targeted shooting. The last court document in this case would be a petition to terminate probation, with the reason being his death certificate. Stunner only lasted 7 months in the free world, and with the details of this case being publicly available for over a decade, it's hard to imagine why now in 2023, it's making its way around the internet as if...
Now, I want to ask this question. This guy was sentenced to 20 years. He did 8 because he had 2 times. Well, he did 10, but he spent 2 years in jail before he was sentenced. So they gave him 2 years time served. He spent 8. Knowing the type of guy he was, right? Do y'all think the P, he got out, what, 2019? So, mind you, P is successful. P rich. Do y'all think P felt like his life was in danger when this dude got out of jail? After he done told on this dude, got this dude 20 years, he did 10. Do y'all think P felt like his life was in danger? Do y'all think P felt like it wasn't safe to move around Atlanta? Long as this dude was on the streets? Do y'all P felt like he got to get out the way to make sure his life was safe by this dude being on the streets? That's the question. Because Atlanta feel like something ain't right. Atlanta feel like P maybe called the shot. But only way for P to call that shot if P was in fear of his life. Because mind you, when this shit was fresh off the press, P ain't do a motherfucking thing. but tell the police. So P had it, and like I said, P didn't have nothing to do with this man death. He said, yeah. P, I'm saying, there's no evidence saying P did. I'm just trying to, because people feel like he did. So I'm just trying to paint the picture the way P had to feel then, if he had something to do. He had to feel like, okay, by me done told on this nigga. He pissed. By allegedly, this nigga say, I had something to do with him getting shot. He back on the streets now after 10 years. He pissed. Mickey say, hell nah. Hell nah to what, Mickey? You don't think P felt like his life was in danger? Because that's the only way P even attempt or even think about having dude killed. If P felt like his life was in danger. 2019, P was paid. Right. Right. And that's what I'm trying to say. He ain't in the hood no more. So P could have moved around comfortably without having to really worry about dude. Yeah, right. We're going to feed him some cheese and peanut butter. Say, would you do it? I can't even answer that. See, this video right here is educational purposes only. You know what I'm saying? Entertainment purposes only. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep my personal serious opinions out the conversation. You feel me? But, hey, some believe P did it. But how do y'all feel that he had a message for Atlanta, though? He say Atlanta just mad because he got 300 million. He saying that Atlanta is playing with his freedom by saying he had something to do with this nigga death. Say, hell yeah, that's why he had to get him first. Feel you? He probably more afraid of what narrative this guy would try to sell to the highest bidder about him more than his safety. P put a bag on buddy. Everybody think P, I'm finna say Pee Wee. Everybody think P put that bag on that boy, man.
As if nobody knew. And after this video, there will be little to no room for debate, as we all can now see P snitched on Stunner. Now this paperwork, it's clear cut in two different ways. The paperwork that hit the internet was fuzzy, looked a little funny. The paperwork I got is clear as day. This is 4K paperwork. But it's clear cut in the sense that it's publicly available. Anybody can get it. And he clearly fucking told. He cooperated in the mall saying, oh, this man's over here. He got a warrant for murder. But not only that, he cooperated and helped secure the warrant for the murder. Now you could say the initial description he gave was thrown, and it was. That was the reason the murder was dropped, was because of the initial description. But at the end of the day, it also states that P stayed in contact with investigators, letting them know whatever he heard on the street. So P was tapping into the streets, hearing this, that, and the third, and then relaying that same information to the homicide investigators. Aside from a grainy picture that the surveillance cameras at the mall got of Stunner with something in his hand that might have resembled a gun, P was the only evidence of the aggravated assault at the mall and of the murder and attempted murder. It's clear cut. P from QC snitched. And I talked to somebody, they said, oh, this is about to break the internet. I don't think it will, for two reasons. For one, it seems like everybody in Atlanta already knew this, whether they're speaking out about it or not. For two, the question will be, was he in the streets? So we're just going to have to wait and see how everything plays out. As far as the paperwork goes, it don't look good. It never will look good. And he definitely told. But let me know y'all thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, or y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
That prophet was great cut. Hey,
Okay, this is gonna sound a little nuts, but
this gonna sound a little nuts. Hey, so it's clear, and we all agree. It's clear, and we all agree that P snitched, right? So P told on dude. I seen somebody in the comments say P probably put the bread on the dude and got him toe tag. He probably most likely didn't deserve it. But if the dude shot P and killed his homie, you think, well, nobody deserves death. So you're right. I can't even argue with you with that one. Bit Skip is still on this motherfucking boat enough to confront him at the mall and shit. Hey, he ain't letting that shit go, gang. He's still on that. He's still on that. I ain't gonna stay on P too long. I don't want to be on the. Nah, it's all coming out that P actually had something to do with that boy there, and he was supposedly loved by a lot of people. Okay, but my thing is P is a big factor in Atlanta. So I feel now by P making that statement, P really just put his life in danger by telling Atlanta, he was broad with it. Like, y'all just mad because I got that 300,000. I mean, that 300 million. He say, my city just hating because I got that 300 million. So in Atlanta, they been feeling like dude had something to do with homie death. They been feeling like, well, they been saying P snitch. So P, I don't think it's too, for you to be moving around in Atlanta like that. Now, this is the question. Will Lil Baby still rock with P after what happened today? The evidence dropped. Is Lil Baby still rocking with P? What y'all think? Y'all know Gucci Mane and P is like best friends. Is Gucci Mane still rocking with P? Is these other industry niggas still rocking with P? Do we care as a fan of music? Like, is we gonna stop listening to QC rappers and singers? Like, do y'all think P snitching? Do y'all think that do it even matter? Like, from the Boston Richie shit, and we reacted to it, the ones that been rocking. That Boston Richie shit, Boston Richie told on 4-5 niggas. He told who niggas' girlfriend names was. He told mama's names. He told street addresses, apartments, the janitors in the apartments. That nigga told what cars look like. He remember tag numbers. That nigga even told on bases. He even told on bombs, homeless people. Like, we seen Boston Richie go crazy. And the people embraced him. The people was like, fuck that. And P is bigger than Boston Richie. No, he sold QC the brand to the white man. It's bigger than us now. Saying what a motherfucker be up. They can lose it all, but the princes and Moors is forever. So it don't matter. That man actually more than the differences from being. Yes, he's a snitch. No, it doesn't matter. They all working with them people. I most definitely look. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. By all these rappers getting exposed, this shit is finna make snitching cool. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, they finna make snitching okay, like, bruh, it don't even matter. Tell. And is that a good thing?